What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking bunkers, the technique for the bunker, how to handle different lies, how to handle different shots. Basically, just make you more consistent out of the bunker, get you on the green, get you close to the hole. So let's get started. So when you're hitting out of the bunker, there's a couple different things you can do, and it all depends on the kind of lie, the shot you have at hand, just how the ball's sitting and what's in front of you. But we're gonna start with a pretty basic one where it's a flat lie, fluffy-ish lie, kind of the more basic bunker shot. So for this bunker shot, what I'm looking for, what I have as my keys to getting a good setup and hit a good shot here, is I wanna make sure the ball is slightly forward of center. I want to put the club face slightly open. We want to get the ball over this lip here, so we want to utilize some of the loft. So we're going to open up the club face a little bit, and then we're going to have the club hovering where we want to impact the sand. A very common mistake people do here is they focus on the ball, they get the club right behind the golf ball. In this shot, our goal is to hit the sand 2 inches behind the ball. We're not hitting the ball. So we want to focus on that point in the sand. When you're on the range and all that, we're focusing on the golf ball, so that's why the club is directly behind it. But we're trying to hit the sand, so that's why we have that little adjustment. So we got the ball position forward, club's open, club is slightly behind the golf ball. And then weight transfer wise, we want to make sure the weight is on our lead side. This is going to help encourage us to hit down into the sand. If we are helping the ball up, kind of leaning back to help lift it up, it's going to be really easy to, one, impact the sand really behind the ball, or kind of catch it on the upswing and blade it out of the bunker. So we want to make sure we keep that weight consistent on the lead side. Now path-wise, there's a couple ways people do it. The way I do it is I get really steep and I cut across it. That's just what's comfortable for me. You don't have to do that. You can swing down the line. Tiger talks about hooking the golf ball. So he sets up a little more square, club face is still open, and he's feeling more this like in to out path. So you can hit that shot. So my path was really straight compared to my normal path in this bunker would be a lot more left. But that's just kind of what's comfortable for me. You want to look for what's comfortable for you. For a lot of people, the kind of straighter path is going to be a little easier because it's going to resemble your swing on the golf course a lot more, the full swing. For me, I just like this cut across motion because that's the same feeling I have with all my other chips, and it helps me kind of get a lot more loft and generate a little more spin. That's just what's comfortable for me. But the biggest thing is those first few setup things where we set up, ball's a little forward in our stance, club is slightly open, we're setting the club up 2 inches behind the golf ball, and the weight is always forward. We want to make sure we keep that weight forward so we can dig into the sand, get the club under the ball so it pops it on out. Now let's talk about the different kind of little setup variations you got depending on the lie you have. So for the one I was talking about before, you kind of have a fluffier lie. I fluffed up the sand even though it's a little wet. Getting the club underneath the ball is going to be really easy because the sand again is all fluffed up. So you can open the club face up and really have no issue digging the club into the sand underneath the golf ball. I made it, that's sick, so you can hit a good shot. But when the ball is on kind of more of a packed down surface like this, it just rained, so the sand's pretty settled down, you're gonna wanna utilize the leading edge of the club to make sure the club digs into the sand so we can get under it. To do that, it's simple. We go from opening the club to just leaving it square. Again, it's gonna help you utilize the leading edge and help you dig into the sand. And because there's less loft on it, the ball's gonna come out like lower and a little hotter. So you just don't want to make as big of a swing. You don't need as much speed. Like that one, it came out a little faster than I expected, so it came out a little farther, but just doing that little difference makes it so much easier to get into the sand, because it's really easy, if we have the club wide open, it's super firm, to kind of bounce off the sand into the ball and you blade it over the green. Not gonna like that at all. So remember, that packed sand, square up that club face, it's gonna make it way easier for you. All right, so now let's talk about the bunker shots that everyone loves, the plugged lies and the long bunker shots, because they're just so simple, right? So, plugged lie in the bunker. You're gonna have a couple different amounts the ball is plugged. You can get kind of plugged, completely fried egg. So for the kind of plugged one here, you can treat it like it's the firm sand. We want a little bit closed club face, so it's pretty square, so we can utilize that leading edge. The main difference is we're gonna focus on leading that weight into that left side a little bit more to help us get a little steeper. And we're really just focusing on hitting down into the sand 2 inches behind it. So biggest goal is to get under this ball. So we did that, it came out, it's not gonna spin at all. So you kind of have to react to that a little bit. But it gets you out, it gets you on the green, out of the bunker is kind of the biggest key, biggest first step when we're plugged in the bunker. Now, if we got this total fried egg here, we really, really, really need to dig into the sand. To make that even easier for you, we're gonna go from square club face to hooded club face. So it's basically like the toe of the club is pointing down into the sand. This is gonna help you again dig in, and again we're focusing on that weight getting on that lead side a little bit more. So just dig it into the sand. It comes out with like zero spin, just knuckleballs out, but because we dug that toe down a little bit, it helps dig the club into the sand, pops it out. I know it doesn't make any sense, the ball pops up when we have this club face like this, but it does. I don't know why, it just does. So make sure if we have a lie like that, we're using the leading edge, getting the club face either square if it's a little bit plugged or closed if it's really plugged. So when it comes to long bunker shots, one thing a lot of people like to try and do is they keep the wedge out that they normally do. So I normally hit with a 58 degree. And they go, well, I'm just gonna hit it closer to the golf ball. Well, the problem is the margin for error is super, super, super small when you do that. Yes, it's possible you can do that. You can hit that golf shot, but it's really, really easy to say I'm trying to hit to that back right one. It is super easy to catch it clean and you hit it way, way too far. Now to help you avoid that bladed over the green and just make it a whole lot simpler for you, what I want you to do is get rid of that sand wedge or lob wedge, whatever you're hitting with, and just simply club down, like get less loft. So then we can focus on the same motion and everything we did this front pin. We can just do it with less loft. And because it has less loft, it's gonna go way farther. So you can see that one got all the way over to the next green where I was trying to go to that next pin. So that none of that was different compared to if I had this lob wedge and I was going to this front pin. All the same stuff, just the amount of loft really determined how far the ball went. And then we can avoid having to hit so close to the golf ball, because then we just have a little bit more room for error. If I am looking to hit it 1 centimeter behind the golf ball and I miss my spot by 1 centimeter, I could be launching that golf ball 50 yards over the green. But if I'm looking at a couple inches behind the golf ball, 1 centimeter isn't gonna do much for you. Like, you can get away with that, if that makes sense. So the goal with that is just simply, let's just make the bunker shot much easier. So if we have a longer bunker shot, get rid of the highest lofted club you have. Go down in loft. whether it's a gap wedge, a pitching wedge, 9-iron, whatever's going to get you to hit it 50 yards or 40 yards, whatever it is. It's a weird shot, but that's going to help you do it. Same setup and everything as we did before, just change the club. Super simple. Well, that's all I have for you in this video talking about bunkers. We talked about the technique and we talked about the variations you need to do based on the lie or the shot you have at hand. So take what you learned here, remember those a few little keys I talked about, bring it to the course, start being more consistent out of the bunker and adapting to the situation as well. It's just gonna make the game easier to be consistent with. Just, you're gonna not fear hitting into bunker anymore because you know you can get out of it and get the ball close to the hole. So if you like the video, you learn anything, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. If you're looking for a one-stop shop, everything short game related to help you improve on and around the greens, I got a short game program for you. If you want to watch more of these videos, click here. If you want to subscribe, click down here.